Okay, Microsoft Excel is what is known as a spreadsheet program. It's used in businesses for accounting, such as payroll, taxes, expense reports, anything that would be used to calculate numbers. Looking at your screen, tell me, what does this screen resemble that you have been used to working in?
Graph.
Not a graph.
Chart.
Not a table, thank you. It looks like the table in Word. It has columns. It has rows. The difference is in Excel, the columns are identified by letters of the alphabet across the top here, and the rows are identified by numbers. A document in Excel is referred to as a workbook. And within the workbook, you have worksheets. Notice I have 3 of them here. You can have more worksheets if you want to, but it defaults and opens up 3 worksheets. A little bit of trivia information. In one worksheet, now that's one of these, there are 16,384 columns. If you were to scroll across, your last column would have the letters X, F, D in it. That's columns. One worksheet has 1,048,576 rows. If I were to scroll down, the last number, and this over here at the bottom of the spreadsheet, would be 1,048,576. I'm giving you this information because I want you to know that these worksheets can be quite large, very large, in fact. And in a business, you usually work at least with more than one worksheet. You go back and forth. A cell is where the column line and the row line intersects. In other words, each one of these is referred to as a cell. Each of these cells have a name or an address or a reference. They use these terms interchangeably. And how they are identified is by the row, column letter and the row number. In other words, at this point, my cursor is clicked in cell A1. I know that because it has a black border around it. That means it is the active cell ready to take data. It's if I were to start typing at this point, my data would be entered in cell A1. Now, folks, you need to know how to read these cell references. In other words, if it says to click in cell D5, go and click in cell D5. See if you can find it on, it's not hard. Cell D5. Look at this right here, please. Look at this writing, A6 colon E12. The colon means through. And basically it will say select A6 through A12. You will click in cell A6, drag across to E and down to 12. And that means you have that range selected. That is a group of cells. It is referred to as a range. It may say select range A6 colon E12, so you need to know that means through. Means you will select every cell from A6 through E12. Go ahead and select A6 through E12 for me, please. These are known as contiguous cells. They are next to each other. Who remembers how to select, maybe keep these selected and select another group of cells? Hold down the control key now and select, listen, H6 through H12. You should have something that looks like that at this point. Hold down the control key and select H6 through H12. Now hold down the control key and select I3. A range can be a single cell if need to be. I just said I3, not anything but I3. The active cell in the range is always white. And then whatever I do to that cell, say if I bold or color it or fill it in with a color, it will also do those other range of cells that I have selected. You need to understand what it means by a range of cells and how to select the range. All right, Control Home will take you to the very first cell in the spreadsheet. So if you're way down here at the bottom and you need to go up to the top, if you'll just hold down the Control key and press the Home key, it will take you to cell A1. To navigate in a spreadsheet, you use the arrow keys up and down, left and right, or you may use the mouse to click in those cells. Notice we have the ribbon, which is much like what we've used in Word. Right now, I want you to go and add the items to the Quick Access toolbar up here. So I want you, we did this in Word when we first started using it. This is your Quick Access toolbar. Click on the little drop-down arrow. You need to add New, Open, and Save. Quick Print, Print Preview, Spelling, Undo, and Redo. And I will repeat them. New, Open, and Save. Quick Print, Print Preview, Spelling, Undo, and Redo. You will only have to do this one time unless you move machines, and then you would have to do those again. I just add the icon so you will have a quick access to some of those if you need them. Notice we have the same tabs, basically Home, Insert, Page Layout, but then we get some new tabs up here on the ribbon for Formulas and Data. Notice if we click on the Home tab, we have the clipboard, which we had in Word. We have font. We have alignment, but it also has a lot more of alignment keys. And then we have a number group and some cells group. Those all pertain to Excel. You will find that some of the things you did in Word, you also apply in Excel, so some of that's not going to be difficult for you to learn. Another factor that students have trouble with when they're learning Excel is the math part of it. The math part, you have to build the formulas. You have to know what to add and subtract, multiply, and divide. So that becomes a challenge for some of you. We will work through that. I don't think we get to that until chapters 4 and 5, thereabouts. Move to cell A1, please. Make it the active cell. Notice up here on the formula bar, it tells you that you're in cell A1. Please type your first and last name.
All it's shown is inward.
Notice the content or the data that is in this cell shows right here in the formula bar. Now, notice my cursor is still blinking. One thing you have to remember, that means that's still ready to take data. To get that data in that cell and go on to the next cell, you either must press the Enter key or click in another cell. The Enter key or clicking in another cell is like adding a period to the end of the sentence. If you don't get out of the cell, for instance, notice here, it does not let me go to page setup. It does not let me go to scale to fit. It does not let me go to print. That is because it's still thinking you're going to enter some data. You have to press the Enter key or get out of the cell, and then it will let you go to page setup and so on and so forth. All right. Let's go to the Home tab. Go over here to Find and Select. No. Go to Find and Select over here on the right-hand side. This works the same as it did in Word. If I want to go to cell FF21, if I will choose the Go To command and down here type in the cell reference FF21 and click OK, it will take my, well, it did 3 Fs. I thought I only did 2, but FFF21. Notice it immediately moves your cursor over there. Find and Replace. Who knows what the Replace command does? Somebody tell me. Find and replace. What's it do? Right. You can do a global search and find a word and replace that word. So it's the same things it did in Word. If you just want to find something, then just use the find command. It's the same process. Now, go to A1 if you're way off of it, which I am. Control Home. And suppose you messed up in spelling your name. There's two ways to edit the contents of the cell. You can double click in A1. Notice it puts your cursor there. Or you can come up here on the formula bar and click up here and do this make the corrections. I don't care which way you do it, but that's how you double click on something. Suppose I want to get rid of this content in this cell. I just click in the cell and press delete and it gets rid of it. If when you are typing and before you press the enter key, you go, oh dear, I don't want that. All you have to do is press the escape key and it clears the contents of the cell. That's before you press the enter key. If you've already pressed the enter key, then you have to click back up here and press the delete key. All right, print preview. Somebody tell me what print preview does.
Shows you what it looks like when you print it.
Shows you what it looked like before you print it. Yeah, it's usually on a small scale. You can't make any corrections in it. You have to close print preview and get back out. I just need, because you should be using print preview quite a lot. Now, folks, I need everyone to go to the print layout tab. I need everyone to do this, please. I need everyone to do this, please. Or page layout, sorry, page layout. Right over here, this little section that says scale to fit. Open it up. Because some of these spreadsheets will be more than one page and I don't want to print them front and back, we will do what we call scale to fit. And you will choose the option that says fit 1 to 1. You have to check this every time. Fit 1 to 1. What it will do, it will shrink the font size down so it all fits on one page. Yes, some of them will be very small, but I can still read them. I know what I'm looking for. Yes. Fit 1 to 1. Scale to fit right here. The group that says scale to fit. And it says fit to 1 to 1. All right? You do that.
Why do you have to check it every time you
Just to make sure it goes on one page. If it's one, you may not know it's one page. It's hard to tell whether these are one pages because you don't get a page 1, page 2 down here like we did in Word. Also, the other way that you will get your footer information, folks, please do this with me. Under page layout, page setup, you have a tab that says header footer. That's under page layout, page setup. Please go ahead and click on it. Page layout tab. The page setup launch button. Down at the bottom where it says page setup. We've done this before, folks. You're going to go to the header footer tab at this point and you're going to choose custom footer. Notice it splits your screen into our page into 3 sections, left, center, and right. You're going to click in the right section. You're going to type your first and last name. The next line will be the project number. So press the enter key and choose project and type in project number. And the third line will be the file name.
What's the project?
I'm just doing this as an example. Whatever the file name is, the name of what it tells you to name it. Then you click OK and OK again. Now, folks, what is different here is that you do not see this footer unless you go to print preview. The only way you can see it is by going to print preview. It does print out, and if you have to edit the footer, then you need to go back into page setup, header footer, custom footer, and get back into that screen to make changes to it. Alright? So I'll come look at it in a minute. But that is how you get a footer on there. So you need to remember that. Alright, any questions so far? Alright. That